All right, look, I can explain. Okay, it's been a couple of weeks since I posted. Now, not everyone's probably keeping up with my posting schedule, nor really cares when I post, and that's okay because I have like 15 subscribers, but thanks to you guys, I can do this. Um, and anyway, I'm sorry. It's been a couple weeks. The last 2 weeks for movies have not been great. Like I just nothing I saw looked very interesting to me, and so I didn't go. That's my reasoning. That's it. Um, I mean, last Tuesday, I was actually busy, but like, since I record and post them on Tuesdays, you guys would never have known. But I really just didn't want to go to the theater the last 2 weeks. I didn't really, I just didn't really want to. I guess there's no, not, it's not an excuse. It's not like, you know, hold on a sec. My dog is causing problems. Sorry about that. Um, anyway, now that we're back, welcome back to Movie Take Tuesday, the movie review that nobody asked for that I'm giving you anyway. So, this week, I do this alone. I don't go with anybody. I went and saw One of Them Days. It's a comedy about uh, two girls who find out that one of their one of the girls' boyfriends, I think her name is Alyssa in the movie, spent their rent money, and so they have to spend the entire day trying to get their rent money back. I gotta start a timer because I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Um, spend their rent money, so they have to like race against the clock to get the money. And it's a comedy, so like it's the funny ups and downs you'd expect and all that. Um, and for starters, I just want to say the whole movie takes place like the time frame of the movie is one day. Everything happens in one day, which is refreshing. I feel like there's haven't been a lot of movies that are just like, you know, not multiple days or like weeks of time going through, a two and a half, well, not two and a half, that's a really long movie, but like a 2 hour movie, putting weeks, days, or months into a 2 hour movie is difficult. And so it was nice to have a movie where it's just one day. It's one day, and they do all their antics and shenanigans in one day. Loved it. And yeah, that was a big part of it. That was a big part of the reason I liked it. Um, but as far as like it being a comedy, it was funny. I wouldn't really say it was like, you know, rolling on the floor laughing funny. Maybe some of the jokes went over my head. I don't know. That is probably true. But I will say one thing that got me was like there was this scene where these two people are ordering from a Church's Chicken, and as the like dude is handing them their food, another guy in a ski mask runs up and steals the food and like keeps running, and the girl that was driving trying to get her food was just like nah, not happening. Ran him down and like hit him with her car, and like he flew over the car, landed. But like what was funny, right? You know, was the camera pan to like the rear view mirror shot. So like if when you look in your rear view mirror when you're driving and you see behind you, that's like what the camera angle was. And it was just a dude laying on the ground, not moving, with his bag of Church's Chicken. I don't know why it made me laugh so much, but it did. It was funny. I hope my dog's noises aren't too loud, but if they are, then they'll be picked up, and I don't really care. Anyway, that was one thing that really made me laugh. There was a lot of there was a lot of stuff that was funny. I just like that was the one thing that like really got me. Um, but yeah, they're basically going through the day trying to make money to like get rent paid, and they I think one thing they do is like they go and they like donate blood for money. And if you don't like blood and you don't like needles and scenes like that, you will not like that scene. I don't really mind stuff like that. Like I'm not squeamish about it, but even I was just like, oh, like, oh man, it was a lot. Was it funny? Sure, but it was also a lot. Um, but I mean that was seen within the trailer, so I knew it was coming. But yeah, it was still kind of a lot. And then what's another kind of thing they do? They go to this like, oh, this was funny. They go to like it's called I think it's Paycheck Today or something like that. Some like loaning agency that like their sign says they charge like 1,900 APR like interest, which is wild, wild. Obviously, it's not real. If it was real, they would all go to jail for scamming people. But I sure hope that isn't real. No, it's not real. There's no way. There's no. It's 19 or it's 1,900. There's no way. That's crazy. That might be like a loan shark thing, but that's not real. But anyway, it was funny because they go to get this loan, and now you think, if they charge that much interest, then they give money to anybody, and they pretty much did. But then they run the background check for like the credit score, and like that scene was so funny because the like main character, what was the main character's name? Um, Drew. She like they ran her credit score and it was like 122, which is it was so funny. Um, but one second, guys. Sorry about that. My dog was doing things she should be doing, and I had to deal with that. Okay. Anyway, her credit score was so low, and it was so funny. Just like the whole scene and how they were like dealing with it, and just all of that. It was really funny. Um, what else? They do a lot. Like one thing that was kind of a big part of the story was they took a pair of Jordans. Um, so like when like a pair of shoes are hung over like power lines. If you know, you know. And like it was a pair of Jordans, and the best friend of the main character Drew, her name's Alyssa. I guess she could be considered a main character. Um, Alyssa like climbed up to get the Jordans because they sold for a lot of money, and that was funny. Like she got electrocuted, and they did get the shoes. They sold them, but then like the person that hung those shoes was upset, and it was like this big like you know gangster boss, and so then they have to deal with all that. I don't want to spoil too much, um, but man, it was a good movie. Like it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen, but I really enjoyed it. And it ended well. It ended because like their whole thing is like they're trying to get out of the situation they're in, not just out of rent, but like trying to move up in their like respective lives. Drew, she wants to like run this franchise for like a restaurant, and then Alyssa is like an artist, and basically they're trying to make it. And I won't spoil anything, but it's a good ending. It all works out in the end. Um, but I would recommend you go watch it. I enjoyed it, and it was funny enough, and um, you know, I noticed something like as I was watching the movie, and once the movie was over, I was like, I was locked in the whole time. I never felt uh, pulled out of the movie. I never felt like, oh, this just didn't, this wasn't right. This wasn't like this seemed kind of. whatever. But no, it never was like that. Everything felt very real. Like it was one of those things where, despite some of the exaggerations for comedic effect, you could be like, this could be real. You know, theoretically, like a lot of this could be real, and it was good. I'm starting to ramble. But what else do I got to say about this movie? Um, I mean that's really it was a shorter movie, hour 40, which I liked. I like that. Um, and the whole cast of characters was really good. Um, who was other than Cat Williams? He was funny. There was the oh B Bernice. Bernice was like this, almost like the villain of the story because she's like chasing these girls down because they made her look like an idiot in front of a lot of people, and so she's pissed off at them and kind of like the antagonist of the movie. And she was funny. Like a lot of it was goofy and a little weird, but I mean it's a comedy, so what do you expect? Um, anyway, yeah, I liked the whole cast of characters. I enjoyed the movie. So let me jump into the rating of the movie. I know this video might not be long enough. I don't really know, but that's okay. So my overall rating. Let's just do pros and cons real quick. Pros: I liked the pacing. Everything happening in one day. You never missed more. Like every other scene transition was like 5 minutes to half hour, hours, and so like everything felt very connected because it was, and you know everything happened in the span of a day. Big pro. The diverse cast, or a diverse like cast of characters, as in like um just their characteristics themselves and just kind of how they all deal with everything, and humor was a pro. If I had a con for this movie, what would it be? I didn't really well, one con, and this is just me. All right, people like this, but some people like this. I do not. The kind of humor that is like um what is the word, like secondhand embarrassment. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where like you see something happen to someone else and you're like, oh, that's like, oh, like it's embarrassing for them, and you feel that humor like that, which I think The Office is a good comparison. Don't come after me. Not a huge fan of The Office because that humor doesn't really, I don't really vibe with that humor. And there was like a scene of that in this movie. Not a huge fan of it. Other people are. I'm not. Another con. Um, the well, no, the blood scene was funny. It was gross, and it was a lot. Yeah, probably that might be kind of a small con, but in any case, the pros outweigh that by a lot. So, if I had to give it a rating, which I do because that's what I do, I would say 7.5 out of 10. Enjoyed it, good movie. Not the best movie I've ever seen, but a good movie. And what else? Oh, right, it's been so long I forget. My side quest. Now, if you remember, I am going through all the drink flavors on like those fancy Coke machines that have like, all the like sodas, and like you click one and then you click the flavoring. I'm going through that tonight, which I was excited to finally hit Fanta. I got to Fanta finally. Sprite's over with. Coke is done. Coke was the first one, then Sprite. Now it's Fanta. Fanta Cherry was awesome. Loved it. It wasn't too like bubbly. It felt like a the middle ground between juice and soda, and the cherry was very like it was very strong cherry. I really liked it. So I don't know if I give ratings for the soda flavor, but I could. Okay, I will. Um, since you asked, I would say that was an 8 out of 10 drink flavor. Yeah, pretty good. So with that, I've finally got back to posting. Thank goodness. Been a few weeks. But I appreciate you guys sticking with it. If you are, if you're not, I understand. You know, watch it at your leisure or don't watch it at all if you don't want to. But in any case, that's all I've got. Go watch the movie if you want, and I'll see you next Tuesday.